Good morning. What a wonderful day it is. Good morning. Wherever you are, if it's evening, night, wherever you are, I know there are difference of times, different places. Thank you for tuning in to MBM. MBN is a tongue twister network. Uh, we are a diverse group of people sharing the kingdom, authentic kingdom message. We thank you for tuning in. My name is Ambassador Renee Johnson. Welcome this morning. And if you haven't done so yet, I need you to subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Mamlaka Broadcast Network or MBN, Mamlaka Broadcast Network. So this morning, I have an interesting topic. Again, we're still in seasons we are. And our topic today is steps to keep a healthy garden. And then what we're going to do is ensure that we are using the correct source. A lot of times we do things, um, we decide we want to again plant plants. There's times and seasons when we can put certain seeds in the ground. There's times and seasons when we can pluck, we can take up, when we can actually harvest. And what I want to introduce you to, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when it comes down to steps for a healthy garden. What about the steps for a healthy relationship? What about steps your relationship with Christ? How is that doing? How are we doing with that? Just like how we pay attention, I know there's some horticulturists out there. They are into their gardens. They wake up in the morning. The first thing they do, they check on their plants, see if they have sufficient water, and they make sure that they have sufficient nutrients, because we know the source of the reproduction and to continue keeping our plants going is we must understand what they need. And so when you understand what the plant needs, it's like, let's mimic that to what our lives need. When we're talking about source, when I'm talking about source, I'm thinking about how important it is for me to keep connected. Keep connected. When I was growing up, my source for feeding me at that time is my mother. And I came from a single parent home, kid you not. I'm sure some of you can relate. So my mother had to go to work, and she had to provide food. And many times we had garden in the back of our yard. We had sweet peppers, broccoli. We even raised some livestock. We even had chickens and what have you, because that was the source to keep us going. So I want to ask you this morning, who and what is your source? I know who my source is. Can you tell me who your source is? My source is the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. And the reason why I can say he's my source is because I'm sure, like you, many of us, we would go through periods of despair and lack and periods of uncertainty. There's periods in our lives when things that we thought would go a particular way didn't go. I remember when I started my business, I was so excited. I went to the bank, I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's, and I sat in the front of that banker with confidence. And so I'm asking you today, who is your confidence in? And even back then, I knew God. I had a relationship with him, but not to the point where I needed him in the time of struggles, in the time of need, in the time of lack. Sometimes I went to the wrong source. So just like the plant, some plants take 6 weeks to grow from a seed to healthy, ready to move into indoors. But you remember now, indoors and outdoor plants experience different things. An indoor plant is more protected because an indoor plant is protected from all the elements on the outside. Indoor plant survival is even greater because the indoor plant itself, we have artificial environment around it. Sometimes we have it in the AC, or we have UV lamps. We have all those things. And then when we go outside, there are the insects, there's the atmosphere, there's the wind and the rain, and sometimes the plants that we had outside don't survive. So I want to ask you, what is your survival rate on the outside? What is it? What are you surviving? Or what did you survive that you thought you couldn't survive? I know we can survive indoors, but then if we're indoors with this lockdown, when we were indoors, a lot of people complain, Lord, the government need to open up, da da da, ray. So, but our source, if you go back and think about it, your survival rate did not and cannot be reliant on the government. Your survival rate cannot be reliant on your mother anymore because she birthed you and she gave you life, yes. But your survival rate must be on the Creator. How vulnerable did you find yourself in this, harsh, cruel world? I want to remind you of a scripture in Joshua 1 and 9. It says, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So while we were inside on the lockdown, you know who was in here? He was locked right inside here with us. He was waiting for us to call on him. He was waiting for us to reach out to him. He was waiting for us to read his word. And that's what happened in this COVID-19. This time was a time for us to connect with the source. It was time for us to search ourselves and go inside and say, Lord, you gave me that job. I know when the COVID hit, every business I had was affected, but I had to rely on the source. And if you're out there, all of a sudden you were in a relationship and all of a sudden it took a sudden turn for the worse and job you relied on, all of a sudden you find yourself being furloughed, you are wrongfully dismissed, or all of your employees quit, or all of a sudden the relationship you're in is facing challenges. There's chaos everywhere. But you know what? I want to remind you of something. You are resilient. You are like those plants. Sometimes the plant again appear dead. Sometimes we don't understand that because it's already in the ground and is rooted, that it will survive the storms, just like you. Let me tell you what resilience is. Resilience is the quality of being able to adapt to stressful life. Listen, we could have some stressful life, all sometimes because of what we demand of life. We have the basic, we have roof, some people don't have that. But when you are resilient, when things happen, when changes come, you can bounce back from hardships. Resilience is like a response to tragedy. It's like a response to crisis or other life-altering changes like COVID. This is a life-altering change. But this allows us to move on despite the loss. I'm going to encourage you to show resilience. Showing resilience does not mean that you are unaffected or uncaring about life and the many changes it brings. You care, but there are circumstances that create for you challenges, but these challenges can be overcome. In 2 Timothy 2 and 7, it says, for God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and of love and self-control. So I encourage you, never let your circumstances or your situation or your present status cripple you. You are a conqueror. And you know why you're a conqueror? Because a believer in Jesus Christ is always resilient. I want to thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are online, thank you for watching MBM plugin, our 10-minute plugin. I want you to share this video. I want you to invite others to subscribe. This is your morning plug-in. This is an opportunity to embrace a new word and an exciting opportunity to begin, to start your day knowing that you are loved, knowing that the authentic you is there waiting to be discovered. Be blessed this morning and know that our God will never leave you or forsake you. He promises that in his word. So thank you for tuning in. And again, subscribe, share this video, share. Steps to a healthy garden. Ensure that you are using the correct source. Know your source. Know your worth. Thank you again. Renee Johnson, Mamlaka, MBM, 10-minute plug-in. See you at the top. God bless.